Okay, so we're here today with Jagamara, and we're going to cover a few things, but one in particular that's probably going to take a bit of time is the One People's Trust.
Yep.
Would you like to explain how you look at the One People's Trust?
Okay. Well, rather than the One People's Trust, it's technology. Yeah, we're looking at paper technology. Paper is a tool to take a message from one point to another through the sea of space with the volition of the writer, using the iconography, which are the symbols, to spell out the words and that we speak.
Yeah.
So it's basically paper technology. Paper technology was used to record history and also to record law. Law is not recognized unless it is spoken first. Once it is spoken, then it can be inaugurated into paper.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, when they muck up, when they play with court, they will cut and paste. Get a deadly document, which is a badass document to those who know what it is, and cut and paste all the information, pull their own, everyone else's off, and put their own in, and submit it and think that will do the job for them. But the thing is, if they don't know how to back that document up, and they are questioned with that document, and they have no knowledge, that's when that document turns around and burns them.
Yeah.
And bites them on the ass. Yeah. So basically, law is not about what is on paper, not about what's been done 100,000 times before. It's about what you know and what you can use for your benefit or the benefit of those around you. Once you know it, then you can inaugurate it on paper. And once you inaugurate it from paper, then it can be accepted as evidence into a court of law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to the average Joe, though, who doesn't or hasn't heard of the One People's Trust, what would be the easiest definition that springs to mind for you?
Okay. The One People's Trust is a group of people from all over the world, not just one area. Some from Western Australia, some from the US, and now it's gone all over the planet. But basically, they have used the same laws, which is the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, which is the laws that every country used to do trade with each other. And they've used that same spectrum of laws to challenge, to question every government on the planet. Who are you? What gives you your authority? And so on. And they also United Nations, the Vatican, the World Bank, and all of the superpowers. And then under the same jurisdiction for every other law on the planet. If I make a public statement and say, you're a child molester, you're a rapist, blah, 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 and make that a public statement, you then have to rebut that.
Yeah.
If you do not challenge it and rebut and prove that you are not, it is recognized as law because you never challenged it. Well, these One People's Public Trust, they did that with the United Nations, with all governments on the planet and so on, and said, okay, we know you're a dead entity, we know you've been doing people slavery, blah, 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 and put it out there for public knowledge.
Yeah.
As soon as they gave them 14 days or 21 days to rebut it, and it was not rebutted, so then they made it law.
Yeah.
So that's why the documents that we deal with, the filings are already there. So the judgments on every government has already been done.
So the paperwork's filed and
Yes.
it hasn't been rebutted,
Yes.
which means at this point it stands.
It stands.
Right.
So now, the reason why this isn't out and everyone for out there to know straight away is, if this was put on TV, how many people would go run to the bank, pull their money out of the bank immediately, and the banks would just go bankrupt, and that would just create fear among the people.
Right.
And fear among people who don't have much knowledge is dangerous for everybody.
Yeah.
So rather than going, bang, we've done it, you're all free to do what?
Yeah.
We need to educate them before we bring this into the global market, saying, okay, now you are free to behave like you wish, but you're behaving fully accountable from your behavior.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, you will be held accountable now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the people administering the defunct corporations are going to be held accountable.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Me, you, everybody.
Yeah.
We do now have the right to drive the road without a license.
Yeah.
But if we crash, we have to be the one to actually set up accountability. How are we going to pay for the damage and so on?
Which is going to be what their argument is, that it's a legal framework
Well, here's
to
the
protect.
thing. As long as the people behave like infants, saying, well, I don't know who I am and what I've got, then they're going to need someone out there to work as a second party.
Yeah.
But if everyone does the same as what myself and I'm telling everyone else to do, which is to become your own head of state, what that means is you become fully responsible for your own behavior. You take care of the trust, which is the account. Your escrow account was created from the time you're born. You take hold of it, so it becomes yours.
Yeah.
So that $100 million account is now your account.
Yeah.
You are the beneficiary of it. You now have the right to use that money.
Yeah.
So if you crash and damage someone's car, you have a $100 million account that you can use.
So
which is your birth certificate.
There's a paperwork framework
That's correct.
available so that
everyone can step
do
in.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by going through this system, we basically giving people their capacity to educate themselves so that they do know how to behave without causing harm or loss to anybody out there.
Well, yeah, obviously the first law of any law, if you're going to have a law, is do not harm.
Cause no harm, cause no loss, cause no damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So personally then, you're involved in an investigation of how this is going to maybe work in Australia because of your situation. You were well, explain what your current situation is in regards to the court.
I've been driving without a license now for 18 years. 14 times now I've been caught driving without licenses, and they've taken me to court 14 times. Each time they've done that, I postmastered the documents. What that means is a paper. Every paper vessel is a ship.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a vessel, a ship carrying cargo, which is the words written with the volition of the writer to take a message from one point to another through the sea of space. Now, under international law, no ship can carry cargo through the sea of space if it doesn't have a flag.
Yeah.
So the flag for the paper vessel is a stamp.
Yeah.
And no ship with cargo with a flag can travel if it doesn't have an admiral. As soon as you put a line on the bottom left-hand corner to the top right-hand corner of the stamp, you become the admiral of the ship, of the paper vessel, meaning nothing on that paper can be used against you.
So just to run that one, that's at the top where you put the stamp.
The top right-hand corner.
Yep.
And put a line on the top from the bottom left-hand corner to the top right-hand corner, and autograph your name across.
Right.
That makes you the captain of the ship, of that paper vessel.
We'll put in a little graphic of that later to explain.
This is what we can. We would like. I'd like. The reason I'm looking for someone who can do paper is I've got a list of ministers that I'm waiting to bill, and a list of policemen I'm waiting to bill, and a list right the way up to the government and right into private business.
Yeah.
I'm now dealing with Muckety Station, which is where they want to build the nuclear waste dump.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with the tribal owners there. They're now giving me full authority to work on their behalf, and they're giving me the mandate to start billing the mine and the government on their behalf for Muckety Station. Yeah. So that's a nuclear waste dump.
Well, that's definitely something that we're going to want to cover with you in depth. But getting back to the 14 court cases and the stamp and the becoming your own admiralty, so you've done that.
Yes. Well, I've done this 14 times, postmastering it.
Yeah.
By postmastering, if someone sends me a bill, then that's a paper vessel.
Yeah.
And it's got no, and they could say, oh, they're fining me $200 for driving without a license. If there's no stamp on the top right-hand corner with an autograph, then that's a vessel floating in the sea of space, so it can be salvaged under the law of salvage.
Yeah.
It's no different to going out there in a boat and finding a boat full of cargo and no captain on it. I have the right to salvage it.
Yeah.
Well, that's no different to a paper vessel.
Yeah.
So you grab their bill, take their bill, put your stamp on the top right-hand corner, autograph it, and you send it back. Now I own the vessel, so nothing on there can be used against me now. I salvaged the vessel. I salvaged all the cargo. It belongs to me now.
Yeah. So the bill they've sent you out,
I own.
I
now own it.
Yeah.
They cannot use anything on that document against me because I've just copyrighted it.
Yeah.
I own it now.
Yeah. So do you video that evidence? Like, do you video what you've done in regards to that, so that you can say that you own that vessel?
All I
now?
do is I'll postmaster. I'll put one on the top right-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner where they ask you to sign.
Yeah.
Scratch out signature, write autograph and printing.
Yeah.
Then you put if it's cancelling a bill,
Yeah.
say $1,000 bill, whatever, you put a 60-cent stamp down at the beginning, 2 40-cent stamps, so you make an even number, 100.
Yeah.
And then you autograph across. Now you've cancelled the bill.
Yeah.
You basically say, I work for the UPU, Universal Postal Union, which is the overlord that owns every road on the planet,
Yeah.
and that you get your license from the UPU. I work for them.
Right.
So what do you mean driving without a license?
Yeah.
I work for the people who own the road.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So how have they dealt with this so far?
Null and void it. I don't go to court.
14 times.
14 times.
Right, this is fantastic because I actually didn't realise it was that in depth. I thought this was your first time that you've been done caught with a license.
No. I have been doing this
so
for
normally,
a long
normal
time.
human being probably they would have thrown into weekend detention or something like.
Well, here's
they
the
were
thing. Here's the thing. I became a Postmaster General, and I made myself a Postmaster General.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I made myself my own ID as a Postmaster General.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meaning, as the one that works with the overlord, which runs the planet.
Yeah.
Because the UPU is the overlord over the planet. They
Yeah.
own every Army, Navy, and Air Force on the planet.
Right.
Is owned by the UPU,
Right.
Universal Postal Union.
Yeah.
Yeah, their job, they are the only organisation on the planet set up through treaty. And they set up a treaty in order to guarantee that once you pay the stamp, the value of the stamp,
Be delivered.
that the mail will be delivered to its destination.
Yeah.
Now with that there, I've copyrighted my name in capital, my name in small letters, my name in big and small, my name in running writing, my spit DNA, my blood, my spit, my blood, my fingerprints. Look at the back.
I'll just focus on it.
Yeah.
And you have a look at the back as well.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. So this is what you. Is this what you go when the police
This is
call
what I
you
do.
over? This is what you give them.
Yep.
This is great. So it's obviously at this point they're obviously at a legal sort
Well,
of
at this
crossroads
point,
with you because
They can't fuck with me.
Yeah.
When they fuck, the reason I'm using this, the OPPT documents now, One People's Public Trust now, is because with that there, I've copyrighted myself.
Yeah.
So, in order for them to write me a ticket, they have to write my name. But I've got copyright of my name.
Yeah.
And I've got a fee schedule for the value of, you write my name without my authority, then here's a bill.
Yeah. This is brilliant.
So I've got copyright over myself. So
And,
I copyrighted my face, my photograph, my spit DNA, my fingerprint, everything that belongs to me because I'm the conscience that owns me.
Yes.
So I've copyrighted.
Yeah.
You want to put my name down on a bill? Fine, but this is my fee schedule to write my name down.
And was that the time? So 4:44 was that the actual time?
4:44
Or did you,
was
like,
the time.
Just like the
That's
numbers?
when I was born.
Wow. Because fours are, moving off onto other crazy
Yeah.
tangents. 4 is a powerful number.
Yeah.
Why
born-
did you choose that flag design?
No, David Wynn Miller is another guy. He actually copyrighted the American flag.
Yeah.
So he actually stole a copyright, and they had to shrink their flag by 2 centimeters length and width. So he owns the original flag.
Oh, this is great.
So I use that flag until I've got my own flag.
Right.
Yeah. I'm now setting up my my Great Seal for my own estate, and also I've got my will and testament. Now here's the thing: under international law, no will and testament is recognised or accepted if it doesn't have a seal from the registrar,
Yeah.
because the registrar represents the government or the government reps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the One People's Public Trust document.
Yeah, we might put
Yeah.
a link to that or something.
Yep.
Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's got all of the judgments that close United Nations and every government on the planet. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I postmastered that in court, and when she said, "How are you going to plead guilty or not guilty?" I said, "I refuse to make a plea to guilty or not guilty. I'm here to prove I did not break the law, and I have evidence there's fraud. Now, the fraud I was talking about is her sitting on the bench, because this document shows that she shouldn't be standing there.
Yeah. That's great. So that's what you mean by the postmaster. You
Postmaster.
run through it.
Because only a living, breathing soul can do that.
Yeah.
A piece of paper can't do that
That's
by
right.
itself.
Yeah.
Only a living, breathing soul can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this thing about the will and testament, because as we'll start again with the will and testament. Once you're born, you're registered. Once you're born, the doctor midwife create a document called Certificate of Live Birth. They then send that to birth deaths and marriages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then after that is complete, 45 days after, our parents go in and register us.
Yes.
Yeah, into the courts, or rather into birth deaths and marriages. At that time, that's when the original title of us is created. Yeah, title is baby born at blah 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 hospital, this weight, this age, blah blah blah. Once we are registered at birth deaths and marriages, 45 days old, that's when they say they own our body.
Yeah.
Because it's our body is the thing that is registered into their ledger, not the consciousness, but the body.
Yes.
Yeah. Then when we leave, we get taken out by our parents. By law, they say under maritime law, you have now been lost, as if you fell off the ship.
Yeah.
And you're lost at sea. On your 7th birthday, because you haven't registered as I have returned from the sea, I'm not dead, you're then recognized as dead intestate.
Right.
Yeah. So then you're recognized as dead. So then the registrar must then see if there's a will and testament, so it can give any of your kin everything, your belongings.
Yeah.
But if this happened at 7 years old and we didn't know about it, there is no will and testament. So therefore, the government takes a job as a trustee over everyone's birth certificate accounts.
Yeah.
Everything you own, they own. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, once you register into the one heaven space, you get a certificate of live birth, the same as you did from the doctor midwife did. You then register that into your own estate, and then you create your own will and testament on behalf of your straw man.
Yeah.
So my legal personality is saying, okay, you're saying I'm a dead person. So I'll put the hat on as the dead person, and now I'll write a will and testament as the dead person, giving everything to me, the living personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
But under international law, no will and testament is accepted unless it has a registrar seal.
Right.
Because I was doing this case, I have the right to use anything as evidence. So I use my will and testament as evidence, and now I have a crown seal on it. Because under international law, they must stamp a crown seal on all evidence.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be very interesting to see where they go with this. This is going back. We're actually now, the 1st of May today, which is probably a pretty appropriate day also.
It is.
May Day, to be having this discussion.
Mayday, Mayday. That's what they'd be screaming out. Mayday, Mayday. There's a little black fella. What's going on?
and we're back in on the 26th of June, so we're going to definitely follow this. Now, getting back to this, the will and testament stuff, say for instance you have a child that hasn't turned 7 years of age. Is there any mechanism by which...
Yes, you can save the child, yes. You as the parent go through the same circumstance, through the same paperwork, you then become the legal guardian.
Right.
So then you can take your kids out of the jurisdiction of the guardianship of the government.
Yeah.
And because you can't have a kid if you're recognized as what they call it, infant state.
Yeah.
If you're an infant, you can't have a kid.
Yeah.
You can't take care of another infant if you're an infant. And they say we're infants of the state because of our behavior. Look, we're always fighting with someone, always fighting.
Yeah.
So what we're doing with these papers, we're saying, I got no fight.
Yeah.
I have no fight with anybody.
Yeah.
I'm here to do business.
Yeah.
You come with you come with me with an offer to do business.
Yeah.
Well, here's my terms and conditions.
Yeah.
There is no controversy.
Yeah.
There is no fight. I'm simply here to make money.
Yeah.
So when I go to court, and because that's what they say, if you just by turning up to court, you're recognised as under controversy.
Yeah.
You're giving them volition over the case, saying, well, look, see, we know there's a problem because he turned up.
Yeah.
So we're turning up saying, no, we up here to do business.
Yeah.
The judge don't walk up and sit on the bench without making money. The clerk, no one does it without making money. Well, I'm here to make money.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely.
It's an offer to contract, because when they send me a document saying you have to go to court, you're subpoenaed to court, that is an offer of a contract.
Yeah.
They are offering me a deal.
Yeah.
So by me taking these documents and me sending these documents to them, I'm saying I will accept any deal, but these are my terms and conditions, and this is my value. This is
Yeah.
what I'm worth. This is what you will pay me for turning up.
Well, the fact that you've now been down this road 14 times suggests that there's.
Put it this way, I've done this 14 times and I've never had these documents.
Yeah.
All I've used 14 times was Postmaster General,
Yeah.
and I got away.
Yeah.
So now that I've got a document where I can charge them and hold them personally liable
Yeah.
for their behavior, now I want to give a bill to everybody. I
Yeah.
want every single ministry to get a bill.
Yeah.
And then if you got a problem, let's do this for you. And then I'll do one on my behalf, because it caused me mental anguish that my friend has been put through this difficulty. So I'll bill them for you as well.
Yeah.
And then anyone else we get on, we do something for them, and I'll bill them for them as well.
Yeah.
Because I want to get my name out there in their system. I want to rack up over $100 million worth of bills.
Yeah.
Reason being, we expect them for the first 2 months to look at this and go, whatever,
Yeah.
until they get the first invoice. As soon as they get the invoice, then they're going to go, what the fuck is this? Let's get this checked out.
Yeah.
Then they're going to go to these numbers and they're going to find, oh my gosh, it's real.
Yeah. Do I have to pay this?
Do I have to? But they will have to.
Yeah.
So if I can jack up within 6 months $100 million worth of bills,
Yeah.
now I have something to forgive them for.
Yeah.
I can say I forgive you for the killing times, I forgive you that. They're just going to, yeah, whatever, old news.
Yeah.
But if I jack them up a bill for every ministry, $100 million for each ministry, and it just keeps piling up, now I can say, well, what are we going to do here now?
Yeah.
Do I foreclose on all of your houses and all your properties and get a nice big account? Or I write a little document out which is my terms and conditions to forgive you of your debt.
Yeah.
Yeah? What are my terms and conditions? Well, we'd probably want a new constitution, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Well, it'd be a nice
So,
start.
if we just sit down and we work, I've got someone already working on a new constitution,
Yeah.
giving everyone all rights.
Yeah.
So that can be my terms and conditions. I can forgive your debt. You sign that. You don't sign, you lose everything. Now I've got power.
Yeah. Now, is there a place like you've got obviously great wealth in terms of your knowledge in regards to this stuff? How did you learn this stuff?
Trial and error.
Right. So, the One People's Trust though is reasonably new.
This has been out in the last 3 years, been setting itself up. But they only become a big power, or only hit their sucker punch on the 25th of December last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I use their technology, I'm using One Heaven technology, I'm using Postmaster technology.
Yeah. Now that's universal. That's for all.
everybody.
That's for all people. Getting
On the planet.
Moving into another subject that we discussed before, in terms of the Koori people in Australia.
We're nearly completed our tribal Bible.
Yeah.
Because under international law, no one thing can be under two estates. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one trust can't own two trusts can't own the one thing.
Yeah.
International dispute. Well, one thing they've been saying to the blackfellas all the time, we don't believe you have your own society, your own laws and customs, because you cannot present it in a book form
Yeah.
to show us this is your society, your rules and so on.
Yeah.
Because in order to show that, we have to take them out on country, show them caves, rock art, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We've now translated all of that into a book
Yeah.
called the Tribal Bible.
Yeah.
So once that is complete, then I can walk that into a court of law and go, this is who I am, this is my society, these are the laws of my society, here's my will and testament, this is my estate, and now I'm now going to subpoena the judge to do a full forensic independent audit over my estate.
Yeah.
Which is my trust since the time I was born up to that day, the 26th, to do an audit for everything that's ever been in that trust since the time I was born up to that day.
Yeah.
On my behalf, because she's a public servant. She has to do it.
Because how would you describe at this point the leadership in this country in terms of...
There is none.
Yeah.
There is no leadership. No tribal or otherwise.
Yeah.
The tribes, The mobs I deal behind closed doors. I'm a second degree initiated man. I'm a
Yeah.
lawman, a red band man.
Yeah.
And it has been discussed and agreed upon by everybody that until we get our paperwork in place and we get the right people to step up, no one steps up.
Yeah.
Because we can't afford to look like idiots
Yeah.
in front of everyone.
Because I was having the discussion with you before in regards to the gentleman who had written a couple of books on constitutional law in
Yep.
Australia, and he was explaining the danger for the Australian government in terms of their mistreatment in regards to, especially in terms of constitutional rights or treaties or wherever you want to go on it. But his argument was that Australia, the British Crown, when they came to this country, thought they were very clever by not
No treaties.
no treaty.
Yep.
Right. They thought that in fact, there's good evidence at one point that they thought that genocide might be going to be the road for them,
Yeah.
so they wouldn't have to work out any treaty.
Well, here's the thing. I can be like some of these black fellas that what we call blow wind,
Yeah.
yeah, and say a black way, a black day.
Yeah.
But it's not a black way, a black day anymore. Australia is a multinational country.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've accepted everyone since people came.
Yeah.
All of the types of swimming, breaststroke, what do they call it, freestyle and so on. We were the ones who taught the British to swim when
Yeah.
they got off the boat because they couldn't swim.
Yeah.
When they hit Sydney Harbour, it was our mob who had to swim out and rescue them when they come off the boat from drowning.
Yeah.
We have accepted everyone. We've had boat people since 1788, and it seems like the only one complaining are the boat people.
Yeah. Well, that's the farce of the complaints of the boat people, because that's how they got.
Well, that's exactly right. That's why we say Australia has a black history,
Yeah.
and it began with boat people 1788.
Yeah.
Our black history began. Yeah. We have a black history, which is our history before. But if you look at Australia, Australia was named by Fernando de Cuesta. Fernando de Cuesta, and he named it Australis Spiritus Santos, the great southland of the Holy Spirit, and that was 200 years before the British came.
Yeah. Well, the
And
British got their anything that was worth value. The British got their little tentacles on at some
Well,
point.
the British were actually shooting out Spanish galleons at the time, because that's where the word pirateers. They were agents commissioned by the Crown to shoot out all the other galleons, rob them, and then go back to England. 50% of what they stole would go back to the Crown. 50% would they kick
Yeah.
with the mates, with the captain and the inmates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they're called pirateers. Then they changed it to pirate. Those said, fuck the Crown, we'll keep the loot ourselves. They were known as pirates.
Yeah.
But the original looting came from the Crown.
Right. Well, it still hasn't stopped in many
Yep.
people's eyes.
Well, they did that, and they actually stole the gold and silver and spice and the maps from the Spanish galleons. That's how they found Australia.
Right.
Yeah, there was no trade for the map. That was blown out of the water.
Well, we were joking before, but it wasn't much of a joke. That ultimately you'd like to cancel all tollways, because they've put tollways on your lands.
We have the right to do it. We'll put it this way: if we put it as a website together, and we use these courtesy notices, and then we set it up so that courtesy notice has got the ministers, all the ministers necessary for
Details.
each area
Yeah.
are on the certain notices, and then we can have friends of whoever, whatever
Yeah.
we call ourselves, and they just put their information in the other side and send it off.
Yeah.
And instead of one bill, we got 100 million bills. Everyone who's got to go across that bridge every day, they send them a notice.
Yeah.
And then we can just put a little, as you said, put a sticker out, and it could be this website. If you don't like the tolls, you want to make money from the tolls, and you put our value down, please get on this website. They pull up the website, see that already filled out for them. All they got to do is put their own details and send it off.
Well, the website we've discussed, so that's something that's in the works as well at the
Yeah.
moment. With getting back to the tribal Bible, what sort of time frame do you think you
Within a month.
Within a month, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we've got 7 books that have been completed now.
Right.
We've got a ghost writer who's a historian who's been dealing with all of the senior tribal people and writing down all of that knowledge. 7 books have been completed. There's 4 books to go. So 11 books altogether to make the tribal Bible.
Right. Well, look, we're obviously sort of we're following this from when we became initiated to it. You've
Yes.
obviously been doing this for a lot longer, but it's obviously a cause that is close to our hearts.
If we can't do this with each other, and we can't do this for each other, who can we rely on? And where do we ask for help?
Yeah.
Yeah? If we can't rely on each other and we can't help each other, then we are fucked.
Yeah.
We deserve the horrible road we're going down.
Well,
But
we deserve
because-
to be a dead end.
Yeah. But because we actually hold good energy, good soul, and it's the goodness within us that makes us do this. No one pays me in the morning to get up and do this work.
Yeah.
Yeah? But every day, 15 years, I've been doing paper for the people.
Yeah.
And I know that my work is very valuable.
Yeah.
Because while everyone else is out there banging their heads up against wood, making the system, my job is to find the threads to pull it apart. So we, the cogs, own the machine,
Yeah.
rather than we get run by the machine and they kick us out and replace us whenever they like.
Yeah.
As soon as the power of the people come together, and here's the thing. I've met a lot of wankers in my time in the world, but for every 10,000 wankers I meet 1 million good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are more people being fucked over and being stuffed over than there are doing the fucking and
Well, I
stuffing.
definitely think you're right there, and that's how that's why they call it the 1%. You know.
And all we need to do, I have no control over anyone I'm supposed to meet. I believe that from the time I was born, there was a gold cord attached to me and everyone I'm supposed to meet, whether it be the person I sit down and laugh and carry on, have a coffee with, or the person I buy a ticket from to get on the bus.
Yeah.
I am supposed to meet them. I have no control over who, what, where, when, or why, but I do have control over how am I going to make that interaction.
Yeah.
So all I do is make sure that my interaction is a good interaction, no matter who I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And if we get into small talk, how you going, how's your work, blah, blah, and then they start bringing up problem, well, here we go, we got solution.
Yeah.
Let's deal with solution.
Because I think that's the most important part. It's the solution. Because everybody can bitch and moan and
Absolutely,
say, yeah.
but no good bitching and moan if you're not willing to do something
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Can't sit there and go, oh, I'm so hungry. Okay, there's food there. Oh, I don't want to peel potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's food. Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Because I think that's the most important part. I mean, everyone criticises the Occupy movements around the world by not having an agenda, and in some argue, well, it doesn't need to have an agenda.
There is an agenda there.
protest.
The
Yeah.
Occupy agenda is to occupy space. That
Yeah.
is the agenda,
Yeah.
occupying space. Because if I'm occupying it, you can't be there because I'm standing there.
Yeah.
That is the agenda of Occupy.
But where this is different is that there's a solution, as you said before. There's actually a framework that you can follow, and that there's a group of people that are going to follow it.
Put it this way. See, this is the tool. See, Occupy as a vehicle, and this is the tool.
Yeah.
Say everyone said, okay, we want to stop all the traffic on the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and we get 10,000 people of Occupy to stand on the Sydney Harbour Bridge, stop all the traffic.
Yeah.
Okay, they've made a movement. Everyone saw it on TV, blah, blah. Now let's say those 10,000 people had these documents with them and a pen and paper, and whichever arresting officer came, they said, oh no, we've already filled these out and we've sent it to all the ministers. What's your name, Mr. Sir? What's your blah, blah? And started sending, so okay, we're all waiting with bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much of a movement would that happen?
Well, that's right. That's what's so interesting about this.
You put a pen and paper behind them and a bill,
Yep.
how much more powerful does that make that 10,000 people?
Which is how they screw you.
That's right.
Yep.
If you're going to beat the system, you got to take their power. The only way that you take their power is take the money from their pocket.
Yeah.
Because they know that we need the money in our pocket, and that's why they put us in debt bondage. Bond us to a place by a debt. No, we cannot pay that debt, so now we are bonded to that state, to that area, until we pay the debt.
Yep.
Guarantees the slave plantation has got more workers there. Because you've got to pay the debt somewhere, so you're going to have to work somewhere.
Well, I've got an uncle who's big in the union movement. he said the union movement was destroyed by death. And he said in the old days you could go on a 40-day strike and you would sleep on the floor at your uncle's house or your brother's house. But he said now you owe money on your fridge, you owe money on the car, you owe money on your house. He said you owe money on everything. If you sleep on your brother's floor for 5 days, you'll end up going bankrupt.
Yep.
You know, so he believes that sort of, you know, it's an
That's
acceleration
right.
of.
Well, this documentation here says, okay, if I'm not going to make money out of there, and you're stopping me, then I'm going to make money from you.
Yeah.
For every day that I'm not making money out there, I'm making money from you. These are my terms and conditions, and by your behavior, you have accepted all my terms and conditions. So now I'm billing you.
Yeah.
So I don't need that job. Thank you for being my new boss. I'll just keep sending you invoices.
Yep. Well, look, we love where this is going, and as we said, we're very happy to get in line and help with this. So this is obviously just the first stage of our journey together, but there's going to be obviously a lot more stages
Plenty.
to it, and we're going to be back. We'll keep you posted on where we end up. But thanks very much.
You're
for
welcome,
coming
my
today.
brother. More than welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.